Thank you for that beautiful music, Chase. That was just wonderful. As we come back out of our meditation, this next 15 minutes is our meet and greet time. So feel free, if you're out there in Cyberland, to go get yourself a beverage or something to snack on. And we will be back at 10:30. band. We still have Hope and Dawn here, but we have Joey on drums, Jeremy on bass, and Chase on piano. So they're our fill-in band. So they're going to get us started.
It's a good one for us to all join in, so feel free. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me know that love is all around. Let me know that love is all around. Oh, let me know that love is all around me. Let me know that love is all around. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me learn from the ways I have fallen. Let me learn from the ways that I fall. Oh, let me know that love will heal us all. Let me know that love will heal us all. Oh, let me walk each day a little kind. Let me walk from each day in our kind. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me share the good that's overflown. Let me share the good that's overflown. Oh, let me care for those around the world. Let me care for those around the world. Oh, let my steps reveal the path of peace. Let my steps reveal the path of peace. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me rise in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me rise in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Good morning. That was really feeble. Let's try it again. Good morning. There we go. That's what this day deserves. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Visalia on this beautiful, beautiful spring day. And I want to tell you, I can see what you're up to now. Because I had my last cataract surgery on Tuesday. And I was telling Donna this morning, I can even see the coexist sign, all of it, and the word coexist above it, which I wasn't able to see for the last couple of years. So I'm happy to see you all here today. Do we have anybody here new? I don't think so. Everybody looks pretty familiar. All righty. In my eyes, you are young as young can be. So anyway, welcome. Today is a wonderful day, and I think Donna is going to come up here and give us some announcements.
We're so glad that Sheila can see again. You can't hear me? Okay. So welcome, everybody. We have a bunch of things to talk about today. Today is a very special day. So the first thing we're talking about is our new art show comes up. We're hanging it Wednesday. And I always got a story. We had this story. I had a year and a half worth of art shows planned. And in 1 week, 5 days, 4 of them canceled, including the one that starts this Friday. So a bunch of artists scrambled, and we've got, I think, what's going to be a fascinating, eclectic, because it's all these different artists, art show. If you notice that red phone there, that's a working lamp. So he makes lamps out of interesting, interesting materials. And you can see a lot of different things. So we're going to have unique art. There's jewelry. There's going to be a bunch of greeting cards. I know people like to buy those. Wine and snacks always. And we'll have, just like we're having today, we're going to have a little bit of music preview for their concert by Donna W. and Bruce. And they don't know that, but they always do it anyway, so no problem. So I hope you'll come this Friday, 5 to 8. It's going to be wonderful. We always have fun. All right, this is the slide that Florence and Stan aren't too thrilled with, but this is practice. This is part of the concert's coming up in a couple of weeks, Donna W. and Bruce, but there's going to be, there's going to be dancing by Florence and Stan. The trio's going to sing. I just told Donna, hey, let's do electric slide. Sue knows how to do that. Oh, Sue won't be here. But none of us know how to do. So we're going to have fun. We're going to get people singing. We're going to get people dancing. And so we want to fill this place. So we need to sell 100 tickets. So there's tickets on sale today, and I hope you'll all buy some. There's flyers at both doors. Pick up the flyers and push this, because this is a fundraiser for us. It's going to be a great concert. But if they're not singing to anybody, it's not going to be as much fun. So please buy tickets and sell tickets to your friends. Explorers is next week. Explorers has been talking about Emmett Fox's book, The Sermon on the Mount. And Emmett Fox is, he's a New Thought writer. And this talk for next week, or the discussion for next week, is on Resist Not Evil, or Turn the Other Cheek, from the Sermon on the Mount. And he interprets it in a metaphysical terms, and you can see on this slide, this interpretation means to place your attention only on good. That's what we talk about. So turn the other cheek, think about good things. It'll be a wonderful discussion. It's always fun to have people come, so I hope you'll be here next week after service at 12:30. And if you missed Dr. Holmes talking yesterday on Zoom, it was wonderful. I don't think, I never heard him, what he sounded like or what he was like in person. And it was a short video. And he said, his whole theme was, it is done unto us as we believe, which is something that's knocked into our heads and sides of mind all the time. So Reverend Ann is going to have it on the website, she says, at some point, so people who missed it can watch it. Sometimes I have trouble understanding him in books, but boy, talking, he was very succinct, very understandable, and I thought it was really wonderful. And Reverend Nan is going to talk about the meeting we're having right after service today.
Well, yes, and thank you, Donna. Thank you, thank you. It is going to be our annual meeting today at noon. I guess there's a potluck going on over there. I can't get there for it, and dadgummit, I wish I could. I'm sure there's going to be all sorts of wonderful stuff. The annual meeting will start at noon and go on from there. I expect that all the reports will be timely and easy to listen to, and so it shouldn't last all afternoon. There's a beautiful day going on in Visalia. I know y'all are going to want to get out and about, but we do have important things. We're going to elect new board members, current board members, and reiterate their seats. So it's important that you stay, enjoy the potluck, get a little preview of Donna W. and Bruce's show, and then be there for the meeting, and we'll make it interesting. I've got some very interesting things I'm going to share with you also. that'll be upcoming at our center. So make sure you're there for this thing. And I'll be there. I'll be there right there on the TV and downstairs on the laptop with a little microphone. So I'll be able to interact with y'all during that meeting. And now it's time for our inclusivity section. Now, there will be a report by the inclusivity team also as part of the the annual meeting. Our inclusivity quote this week is by a fellow named Robert Ricciardelli. He's a very interesting fellow who does connected network kind of things. And it's about empowering people for better growth. That's been his work for years. But he states vulnerability is never a weakness. It is a superpower in our lives. It opens our hearts to be human as God intended. It is the launching pad for love, compassion, empathy, and gratitude to be powerfully released and expressed. And I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that during my message. And now I'm going to turn it over to Janice Lehman, our practitioner in residence, who will take care of our affirmation and offer an opening prayer. And then we'll hear some more music from our wonderful band. That's all of our folks that have come together, who are usually our backup folks. And it's been a delight to hear everybody. And of course, there's Dawn and Hope singing. So stay tuned. Janice, take it away.
Okay. I hope you don't mind if I sit. I've been having a little trouble with my back. And then yesterday, my husband helped me out by putting a chair on my foot with his. Not on. Oh, yes, it is. I'm sorry. So I know he doesn't like it when I tell that story, but I didn't like it when he sat on it, the chair either, so we're even. So today we are really talking about vulnerability and what a superpower that is, and Reverend Dan's going to be talking more about that in her talk. But I think that before I go over this quote, I think that when we grow up, we get the idea that being vulnerable, that showing any weakness is not the way to go through the world. And yet we know that there are many people who have been very skilled at being vulnerable, say someone like Oprah Winfrey. It certainly hasn't hurt her to be vulnerable, and there are many, many more. And I think that that's a model that we should all strive to follow, because when we're vulnerable, we're letting other people know that we're just like them. And then they can feel free when they're with us, because we don't have to put on airs. So if I could have that quote, I step into the power and possibility that vulnerability brings. So let's say that together. I step into the power and possibility that vulnerability brings. Okay, with that, I would like you to just settle in and close your eyes if you're comfortable with that. As I hear that quote, I am aware of all that means. That being vulnerable is just being who I am. And I know that Spirit has made me the way that I am, and that is perfect. And what I know for myself, I know for every other person on the planet. And as we go through our service today, I want us to keep in mind, each of us, that when we are vulnerable and we are truly who we are, we allow other people to be that way too. We allow people that maybe are different than we are, that maybe look different, speak a different language, it doesn't matter. But we tune in to that humanity that our Creator has made all of us in that perfection. I am so, so grateful to know that vulnerability is a superpower, that it is something that when I truly embrace it, I am so much more than when I do not. So, so grateful. So grateful to know that I have this power, as does every other person on the planet. I release my word, knowing that it is already so, and we say together, and so it is. And now we're going to have a great song that we can all sing along with. Hope says she's not going to cry like she did in Imagine, but she still needs our help, okay? So take it away.
We're going to have our lyrics here up on the screen. Love is my decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. And love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. Once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Everyone. Love is my decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. And love is my decision. No one else can make me forgive. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Now listen to the music. Just think of those words as they play that music. Beautiful. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down that road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Let's do that again. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down that road. And love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love beautiful.
That was fabulous. Thank you, thank you, thank you to Hope and the band. It's totally inspiring for love to be our decision. Well, good morning. Reverend Nan here, and happy last day of April. I want to welcome everybody who's there today, and for those of you who are at home also, or wherever you may be watching this, whenever you may watch it. You know, first I want to send a big thank you to Reverend Susan Overland for filling in for me last Sunday. She provided a wonderful talk and was a joy to watch when I later caught up with the service on our YouTube channel. I am so grateful for her willingness to support our center, and I was so very happy that I could attend a colleague's ordination in Sarasota. Ordination is a really big deal for ministers. It's another very big threshold that we cross in our lives. I'll be eligible for my ordination process and panel next year, and that really makes me feel that time has flown, since it takes 3 years after licensing to get to that next step. And then, once we are ordained, we are ministers for life. I already made that commitment to Spirit, but it's always the most wonderful thing to have that be that final step that we take in ministry. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you'll be there with me. Well, and tomorrow, May begins. You know, we saw on the slideshow that it's May Day, but for today, we're going to finish up our month of examining the power of vulnerability. We've spent a lot of time on vulnerability because it really is the cornerstone of authentic living. If we are capable of vulnerability, we really move through life assuming a persona and taking actions and presenting ourselves in myriads of ways that usually sublimate and deny the lives we really want to live. When we live our shell lives, as I call them, that's just living in a shell that is what the world sees. We're not really expressing who and what we really are. And usually we're reacting from fear and old constricting thought patterns in our shell lives. We've talked about the powerful impact that fear can have on controlling our behaviors, our dreams, and desires. Fear requires that we act and react in ways that please others because we assume they're better than we are, or they have more value, or they have the power to control us by withholding money, fame, or success. Now, over the past 4 weeks, as we considered the power of vulnerability, we found that by softening and self-examination, we could open to a greater expression of ourselves, our true spiritual nature. We learned the value of being kind to ourselves when we consider some of the things that stall our willingness to consider vulnerability and change some of our thoughts. We discovered the benefit that our vulnerability can make in encouraging others to be open and grow, as Janice mentioned in her opening section there before her treatment and during her treatment. And when we aren't living our vulnerability and understanding the basis of our own power, we're always giving our power to another person, another idea, a thing, a place, or a way of life that isn't in alignment with who we truly are within. So today, I want to speak to power, real power, the power of authenticity that is rooted in our alignment of body, mind, and spirit. Vulnerability is the gateway to that authenticity. It opens the path and paves the way for us to stand in our creative power, both individually and collectively. We're then able to live from the awareness that we have the ability to change and transform. We are not stuck. We are never stuck. Instead, we know that housed within us is the ability to bring everything we are inspired to be to life. We're empowered to believe and know that through our own willingness to be vulnerable and authentic, we set off a chain reaction that permeates everything that crosses our path. Sometimes we have a big misunderstanding of power, and so we back away from it. You know, in our world today, we see a lot of aggression, control, and oppression. And those are all expressions of power based in human condition, greed, hate, and many other expressions of human personality choices that have nothing to do with real power. The power we'll be talking about today is a spiritual power. And to be clear on this, my talk title today is Power and Possibilities, not Power and Oppression. Real power originates from our spiritual source and is not human personality driven. You know, many times we've heard folks in Science of Mind say that there is a power for good in the universe. Dr. Holmes always said, that power is greater than I am, it's greater than you are, it's greater than all of us, and that it is a power for good that every one of us can use. That power is the power of the infinite mind that dwells within each of us. The universal intelligence through which all manifest form has come forth exists within each of us in a unique way, just waiting to be expressed. Dr. Holmes noted in his great work, Thoughts Are Things, everything in the universe is a unique individualization or expression of the one thing, which is the cause of all things. That includes you and me and all creation. One of our primary spiritual principles is that of the threefold nature of spirit. And that principle states the one infinite reality expresses itself in three aspects: spirit, law, and body. Each individual is made in the image and likeness of the one infinite reality and has these same three aspects. Now, those three aspects are represented in our teaching symbol. It's a circle with a V drawn through the center, passing through three levels. So Donna, if we could have that slide up on the screen now, it'd be great. And I'll tell you when to take the thing down so everybody can take a look at it. The circle, and I found this beautiful symbol, this beautiful teaching symbol that has some things in it that I want to reference as we go along here. The circle represents the allness and wholeness of that one infinite reality. However, it's never limited by the confines of a circle. That's just an imaginary representation of allness. It is infinite. The upper third of the circle represents spirit as pure consciousness, the energy of thought that is unformed substance. And in this particular symbol, this picture of it, it's portrayed by streaming light, which happens to be our true nature and from which inspirational thoughts that might be considered seeds come. The middle third of the circle, with all those little energy bubbles, represents the portion of spirit that simply receives the thought and begins to create that inspiration from unformed substance into material form. It has no judgment or opinion about what it's doing. It simply does. It responds the same to every thought, regardless of the thinker or its nature. It always creates according to the information it receives, which is why Ernest Holmes called it the law. It operates on the law of mental equivalence. What gets thought into the creative portion of spirit is simply created just as it's received. Now, we often use the example of this portion being soil. It receives the seed gets planted in there, and then it begins to grow. Now, the third level, seen as a field of flowers here, what we often use in our example as the plant from the seed, that represents the manifest or physical form of the inspiration, or what might also call the body. And the left side of the V shows the route of travel of the thought, pure, unformed spirit, into the creative mold, the law, with the physical manifestation into the tip of the V. And you know, spirit has this magnificent recycling system. The energy then turns back on the right side of the V and cycles back up into pure energy, where it is released into the vastness of divine intelligence, and on and on and on, or infinitely, the creative process goes. And you can take that slide down now. It is very beautiful, though, I must say. The creative process is the one infinite reality operating through the law of cause and effect. The law is impersonal, automatic, and intelligent. It receives the direct impress of spirit's impulse and acts upon it, bringing out into form that which it is. Since we have the same threefold nature, how we use the creative process shapes our human experience in alignment with the whole, perfect, and complete reality, to the extent that we understand that we're using the law with every thought. Now, this is the tricky part here. We can either be conscious in our thoughts or not. That universal mind is available to each of us all the time, and it's always creating. And here is a key point. Our power of all possibilities lies in our utilization of that mind, of our mind, the one mind. What thoughts are we thinking that we are creating our experiences with? Now, another critical spiritual principle that goes along with this is that we're always free to choose, to think a new thought, to make a new choice, and we're never bound by our previous choices. So even if we've been thinking the same old things over and over and creating the same reality in our life, we can now make a new thought, a new choice, and create something new, and we are not stuck in those old patterns. So those choices originate first as thoughts, inspiration either from our spiritual nature, our higher self or spirit within, or simply those repetitious habits of thinking that we have acquired and repeated ad infinitum along the way. As we begin to choose thoughts based on inner knowing, based in opening to our spiritual qualities of love, peace, beauty, and joy that are life affirming, not life destructive, we can apply this first to our own life and then to collective choices. What choices are we making right now that are life affirming? What choices do we make that are based in old habits and beliefs that are destructive to ourselves, our well-being, our self-confidence, and may even promote our greatest fears, or that may contribute to the harm or oppression of others? Dr. Holmes noted in Creative Living, in transforming energy into power, we are uniting an invisible essence with an invisible law, which is the way the universe operates. If we identify ourselves with the source, then our word establishes eternal harmony, transforms everything, rearranges everything to our benefit. It is an act of complete surrender of the human to the divine without the loss of the human, a complete inflowing of the divine into the human. And this is where vulnerability becomes so valuable. It creates a unique opportunity for the power of possibility to make itself known, both individually and collectively. It dissolves barriers. It reduces the experience of disconnection and opens the door for a greater awareness of the divine presence within all of us, not just some of us. This space of possibility breaks the mold of what has been. It supports us in standing firmly in the space of what can be. It emboldens us to open to our awareness, expand our view, and activate our lives in ways that speak truth to our most authentic selves. Through vulnerability, we invite transformation, first in our own lives, and then in co-creation with others. Vulnerability lays the framework for us to reshape the societal narrative and create space for conversation and transformation. Vulnerability becomes something that's embraced and honored rather than something to be avoided or diminished. The power of collective transformation is made possible through the seed of vulnerability. Through fostering vulnerability in our families, whether they're our family of origin or our chosen families, our communities, and our world, we bring to the surface the possibility of real and dynamic change. Our global vision of a world that works for all is that change. And the possibility then becomes more than just words or ideologies. The possibility of transformation becomes a reality through our own willingness to be vulnerable. Deepak Chopra writes in the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, and if you haven't picked up that little book and never read it, it's very insightful, really easy to read. He says, when you discover your essential nature and know who you really are, in that knowing itself is the ability to fulfill any dream you have. because you are the eternal possibility, the immeasurable potential of all that was, is, and will be. We consciously use our creative power when we engage in spiritual mind treatment, or what we also call affirmative prayer. We recognize that one infinite reality. We align ourselves with it, inseparably one forever, because that's the truth. We consciously realize the idea we wish to create in our lives, knowing it already exists in a perfect spiritual prototype in mind. We express gratitude, and then we let that idea go because we understand that as we have spoken this, that law of mind received it, and as such, it's already done. And we say then, and so it is. But we could say, Amen. We could say, Ashe. We could say, so be it. Oh, we could even say, Ho. Any way we express it, our prayer is complete and final. You know, there's a simple form of our spiritual mind treatment, our affirmative prayer, that we teach children in our youth programs. We teach them, God is good, so am I, all is well, thanks, goodbye. So why don't you just say that with me now? God is good, so am I, all is well, thanks, and goodbye. I wonder what would happen if everyone said that just once a day all over the world. You know, as we rest in our vulnerability, we open to the power of the infinite within, and we live our possibilities individually and collectively through our conscious use of the creative process and spiritual mind treatment. Prayer works. I believe that, and I trust it with all my heart. And when you can't or don't have faith or trust in that idea, you can borrow mine. You can borrow me. I'm always available for prayer. Someone asked me recently if I charged for prayer since I wasn't at the center. And I said, no. And to be clear, I want you all to hear now from me, there never has been, nor will there ever be a time that I will charge for prayer. So don't you hesitate. If there's a time when you need a little extra something, you just give me a call. There is no prayer, or again, whatever you would like to call it, affirmation, etc., that is too big or small. They're all so important because we reframe our lives with our thoughts, the things we think, and the mental equivalents that we form. You know, Steve Brown is a Presbyterian minister, and he made this statement that I just love. He said, not being changed by prayer is sort of like standing in the middle of a spring rain without getting wet. It's hard to stand in the center of God's love without getting it all over you. So don't you hesitate. I'm here to stand with you in the center of God's love and enjoy getting it all over both of us. That love is the power that is greater than all of us, and it is ours to use for good. I invite each of us to step into vulnerability, to use our power of possibility and live life out loud by expressing that love that is the all good. I invite us to now make love our decision and to know without question that love can build the bridge that allows us and supports us in co-creating that world that works for all. Because, as I always say, love prevails, and so it is. And now, let's just go ahead and do that prayer thing here. And in this particular prayer, I want to bring forth that idea again that there is only one power, and it is a power that we can use for good. It is the power of love that has created all creation. It is the power that is greater than I am, greater than each of us. It is the power that can co-create a world that works for all. And in this moment, as I speak this word, using this power of love, using that infinite mind, I know that I am one with it just as we all are. And I know that as I speak this word, I hold a vision in my heart that is a world that is filled with love, that is filled with peace, that is filled with harmony, where each and every person is free. Each and every being is supported fully and prospered. Each and every person is honored for the unique individuality that they bring to this world. All individuals thrive in freedom, love, peace, and joy. And I see that world very clearly, and I share it right now because I know that that spiritual prototype exists in the mind of God. And as I say this word, I give great, great thanks. My heart is filled with gratitude. And I simply release this word into that law that we just talked about, knowing that it is already acted upon and done. And together we may say in whatever form that we choose, and so it is. And now we're going to have some more special music from these very special musicians that we're blessed to have there today. Take it away, guys.
I'd gladly walk the desert with no shoes upon my feet, share with you the last bread I had to eat. I would swim out to save you in your sea of broken dreams. When all your hopes are sinking, let me show you what love means. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? I would whisper love so loudly every heart could understand that love and only love can join the child of man. I would give my heart's desire so that you might see. First step is to realize that it all begins with you and me. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? When we stand together, it's a final hour. We can do anything, 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 anything. Keep believing in the power, 'cause love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? Oh, love. you think it's time? Don't you think it's time?
That was so beautiful. Thank you, thank you. I could listen to them play music all day. I don't know about you all. We're so blessed to have such wonderful talent in our center. We are so blessed indeed. And now it's time for our conscious giving affirmation. This is a time when we get to give of our treasures. And so we have our conscious giving affirmation that will be up on the screen here in just a moment. And it says, if you'd like to take your gift in your hand and hold it up to your heart, repeat after me. I live in the power of my prosperity and share with great gratitude and joy. I live in the power of my prosperity. Say that and feel it. You live in the power of your prosperity and share with great gratitude and joy. And if the ushers would like to begin to collect the gifts, I want to mention to everybody that you can participate. You too can donate, and we appreciate the gifts that come from everyone, far and wide and away and near. Keeps our center going and operating. You can send your donation to 117 South Locust Street, Visalia, California, 93291. You can also go to our website at www.cslvisalia.org. Hit the donate, not the donut. Man, I've still got that donut thing going on, even though I'm over here in Florida. I must not have enough donuts these days. So you hit the donate button and you can decide how much you would like to give. It happens right there, and it's an electronic transfer. Whatever is easiest for you to give of your treasure to support our service, our activities at this center. Because we are blessed to be able to continue to provide these Sunday services, all the activities that we do there that are going to be even more in the summer. We'll be talking about those at the annual meeting. And just to be able to spend time with you wherever you may be around the globe. We're here. So I'm so grateful that we have these gifts. And now as we have the opportunity to receive those, I just want to bless them, because I know that from the love of pure spirit, these gifts come forth. And I bless the individuals who give. I know that they receive back 100-fold or more. I know that this gift, these gifts of love, do good work in our center, good work in our community, and good work around the world. And so I bless them. And so it is. And now it's time for the peace song. Yep, we do that every week. So everybody who's there, you can gather around in a circle and make yourself comfortable. And we'll be singing that song. The words will be up on the screen at home so that you can begin to sing along when you're wherever you may be. We got quite a few folks there today, so it's taken a few minutes to get everybody down there.
Now there is peace on earth. I know it begins with me. Now there is peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator, united all are we.
All righty. Now's the time when you get to do the benediction and then get on with the potluck. So, if you want to join me in this, we've done it before. Here we go. You can repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It's this thing called life. Now, life is in my mind, and life is in my body, and it's in the body of my affairs. I think it. Ooh, and I feel it. And I love it. Just the way that it is. And just the way that it is not. And together we can say, thank you, life. Have a wonderful week. I'll see you in a while for the annual meeting. Enjoy the potluck, and I'll be right back. Have a good time.